Hello, my name's Dave Weller. I'm the owner of a health promotion company called Valley Wellness. We're on the web at www.valley-wellness.com. And part of what we do is to help people think about the way they eat and the things that they eat. And actually addressing this to my students at the local community colleges as well, because many of them have kind of hectic lifestyles like many of the rest of us do. So a easy and quick meal is a real opportunity to get some nutrition, but save some time for studying in the case of students, or going out and square dancing or line dancing, or doing anything else that you want to do in your spare time away from work or school or whatever it is. So what I'm going to do is make a quick and easy lentil soup. And I'm going to start by turning on my stove, using some good California olive oil here. I'm going to wait a minute until this heats up, pour in my oil, and then add the onions that I chopped up earlier, and we'll get started in just a little bit. Hang on. Okay, so my pot is hot. My onions are in the pot with the olive oil, and I'm going to saute the onions until they are transparent and maybe a little brown on the edges. Okay, so my onions are looking pretty good in the pot here. I'm going to start adding my lentils. In this case, they're organic and they're black lentils, which will add a little bit of color and variety to the texture and taste of the soup. So I'm just going to add those. And then I'm going to add the lentils that everybody knows, again, organic. Organic is not so important for nutritional purposes as it is for environmental purposes. If you care about the environment, that might be something that you would want to look for in your store, is organic fruits and vegetables and beans and other items, other food items. So I'm going to mess this around a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to add my low salt, low sodium vegetable broth that I bought at my local store. Just going to toss it in. The emphasis is on low salt, low sodium. The recommendation for people who are sensitive to salt these days is about 1,500 milligrams of sodium over the course of the day. That's not very much at all. So pay attention to your sodium. This is also a good recipe, incidentally, for older folks, because a lot of older folks don't get enough liquid over the course of the day. So this is a good way, really kind of soupy soup is a good way to get some liquid over the course of the day. I just threw in some organic diced tomatoes. And in a second, I'm going to throw in some barley that I cooked up the other day. That's about half a cup of barley. And here's some of the good things about barley. It's high in dietary fiber. It's got a lot of protein. It's very high in niacin, or the alternative name that we use is vitamin B3. It's high in vitamin B6. It's got zinc and it's got phosphorus in it. And additionally, the lentils are also high in phosphorus. They additionally have zinc in them. They're good with iron, they're good with folate or folic acid. They are also, like barley, high in dietary fiber and protein. So this is an action-packed soup that we're making. I'm going to add some broth that I made cooking, steaming some vegetables the other day. So there's some, and there's a little bit more. And then in place of salt, I'm going to throw in a little bit of these herbes de Provence. A little bit there. It's not coming out really readily. Anyway, as a substitute for salt. And I'm going to just let that cook a little bit over the fire. One of the things that you can do at the end of this is to make it a good meal is to have some kind of a salad and a piece of bread and a little bit of cheese with the bread and the soup. It's a nice balance there. Just a little bit of the cheese because it's high in fat, but it's also high in calcium and protein and things like that. So it's always a balancing act. So again, we created a soup, a very soupy soup here, with some low sodium vegetable broth and some black lentils, some regular lentils, and these are all organic, some organic diced tomatoes, some broth that I saved from cooking some vegetables, tossed it all in. I'm just going to let that simmer a little bit. And then importantly, instead of putting in salt, I'm going to let the people who eat this salt to their taste. I just added some herbes de Provence just for a little bit of stimulating people's tongues, taste buds. I did add a little bit of salt just now because the soup is a little bit on the less tasty side, so I just added a little bit of salt, probably no more than a teaspoon. And I found some corn in my refrigerator that I want to get rid of. I want to eat it somehow. So I'm just going to throw it into the soup. There was probably about half a cup of corn left over. So just to reiterate real quickly, I sauteed some, probably about 2 cups of onions in some good California olive oil. And after they were transparent and maybe a little brown on the edges, I threw in the lentils, both regular lentils and some black lentils. And then I tossed in some diced tomatoes. All of these 3 cans are organic. And then I added some broth that I had made, that I had saved from steaming some vegetables over the past week or so. That was about the equivalent of, I don't know, a cup and a half, something like that. And then instead of adding a lot of salt, I added some herbes de Provence. I'll probably add a little bit more in just a little bit. And just to finish it off, one of the things that is recommended these days that Americans seem to be not getting enough of in their diet are fruits and vegetables. So I have a banana here. I'll probably eat it at dinner with the soup and the bread and the cheese. So again, eat hearty, eat healthy. This is for my students out there at the community colleges locally. This is for older people who need to get a little bit more fluid in their diet as well as nutrients. This is for people who need a quick and easy meal. And again, my name is Dave Weller, and part of our business at Valley Wellness is helping people eat healthfully and at the same time, hopefully get a little bit of exercise and burn off those calories and watch your weight. So again, visit us on the web. We're at www.valley-wellness.com, and see you next time.